Hello, everyone, and welcome to the fourth webinar in BioVigil's webinar series, Culture Change, Getting to Happy Hands and Healthy Patients. I'm your host, Amanda Holden-Sinisi. A few housekeeping items before we get started. Your line is muted, so you don't have to worry about muting yourself. This webinar is absolutely for you, so we encourage you to ask questions using the QA message box, and we will address all of those questions at the end of our presentation today. For those of you who are with us for the first time, we welcome you, and welcome back to those of you who have been with us before. We're very happy to have you back with us again. BioVigil's webinar series features key opinion leaders who are making a significant impact with patient safety and experience in hospitals. Speakers will share data insights and best practices that have made their organizations best in class in the culture of staff and patient safety and driving exceptional patient experiences. I am privileged to introduce today's speaker and registered nurse, Lizette Alvarado. Lizette holds many roles at Lakeview. She serves as a patient advocate and orthopedic coordinator for Lakeview, among many others. She ensures patient safety and quality management by initiating and driving the core quality measures to help decrease hospital morbidity and mortality rates and executing high quality patient care. Seen as a pillar in St. Tammany Parish, her passion for outreach, philanthropy, and advocacy for multiple organizations for Alzheimer, Access Kids Network, and numerous others are testimony to her dedication and her ability to lead by example. Now I'd like to welcome Lizette Alvarado with Culture Change, Happy Hands, and Healthy Patients.
Hello and welcome everyone. I'm excited to be here today and have you all listening. Thank you for that introduction, Amanda. I am an administrative nurse from the great state of Louisiana. I am dedicated to patient care and improving patient safety. Just a little disclaimer to everyone, as you can see at the top of your screen is my corporate launch pad. Unfortunately, I'm unable to remove that, so just so you know, it will be seen at the top of your screen throughout the presentation. So welcome everyone again. Our facility, Lakeview Regional Medical Center, is a beautiful facility. Enclosed is an overview of Lakeview Regional Medical Center located in Covington, Louisiana. It's a beautiful hospital overlooking lakes with multiple ducts. We're a 167-bed facility, a campus of Tulane Medical Center in conjunction with Tulane University Academia. We are the first Hospital Corporation of America HCA facility to implement BioVigil. It's a tough environment. We hold our staff accountable and we have respect for our leadership. Today, the topic of discussion is culture of change, getting to happy hands and healthy patients. We will be discussing Lakeview's story of culture change and how we got to happy hands and healthy patients. At first, the staff was apprehensive to this new BioVigil initiative, but now it is well received with compliance. We had some complexity at the beginning when we implemented the new Purell hand sanitizer solution at the same time as the BioVigil hand hygiene system. It caused some confusion amongst the staff, but we immediately corrected this confusion and allowed the staff to know that they were not affiliated with each other. At this point, we changed gear and focus. We reminded the staff why we were implementing the BioVigil hand hygiene system with a positive focus on patient safety. We use positive reinforcement to encourage change with a smile. Therefore, that is why the staff calls the badge Happy Hands. Clean hands are happy hands, thus the title Happy Hands and Healthy Patients. Let me tell you, initially it was difficult, but the impact of culture change is inspiring. We wanted and we needed BioVigil. We wanted BioVigil and it works because we wanted it. Lakeview's decision makers saw BioVigil as the category leader because the visual way that BioVigil communicates hand hygiene status to patients and families. Green is clean. When you look at the BioVigil badge and you enter a patient's room, you know immediately if it's green, it's clean. We provide education to the patients in their admission packets, so therefore they're informed of what BioVigil is and what green is clean means. Lakeview felt a sense of obligation to patients to show they were delivering safe care. As such, BioVigil was a perfect fit for our facility. Why BioVigil? It was to improve patient safety. Patient safety is our #1 goal. We wanted to increase hand hygiene compliance among the staff, and then we ultimately wanted to decrease hospital-acquired infections and surgical site infections. Leadership. Our leadership is in constant communication with each other and with the staff. We do frequent report reviews with the managers, directors, and we also show the compliance rate to the staff members as well. We work as a team and all hands are on deck to ensure that we have success in the BioVigil hand hygiene system. We have persistent involvement in the system as well. We utilize positive reinforcement such as candy, meal tickets, and we provide cards to the staff members. This is to boost morale amongst them. The cards that we provide them, inside we enclose their compliance rate. If it's 100%, we highlight it and we thank them for their standard of excellence and dedication to patient safety. Leadership is visible amongst the units and we do frequent rounding. We perform patient safety rounding, nurse leader rounding, and executive rounding. Rolling out BioVigil. When we rolled out BioVigil, we had a great deal of support and assistance with BioVigil. We had an amazing director of implementation who was there and rounding and answered all the questions. It was absolutely amazing to have her present. The director of implementation came to our facility to conduct educational in-services to several shifts, day and night, in conjunction with myself. Me being present during these in-services increased the continuity of education during the rollout. During the rollout, we did face a challenge, and that challenge was the new sanitizer that was implemented the same day as BioVigil. But we overcame this challenge. We re-educated the staff and informed them that indeed it was not associated with the badge. The issue was that the Purell hand sanitizer that we implemented did not have a moisturizer. Therefore, the staff began to have dry, cracked hands, and they at that point thought that it was due to BioVigil. They didn't realize it was due to the hand sanitizer solution. Therefore, we educated them, we showed them, and we switched out the hand sanitizer solution to one that had moisturizer. And when we did, the staff could see that it had no relation to BioVigil badge, and that BioVigil badge was a positive thing. And the staff understands now that it was nothing to do with the BioVigil badge. We have new leadership on the floors and new executives. Our CMO is the first physician to wear the BioVigil badge, and he will be responsible for rolling it out to all of the physicians. Lakeview Regional Medical Center is a no-tolerance policy facility. Our expectation is that you wear your badge during every shift from the moment that you clock in to the moment that you clock out in all patient safety areas. We post compliance rates on the units, which encourage the staff to have compliance improvements. By posting the compliance rates, this led to positive competitive rallying amongst the staff. They had 2 staff members that were approximately in the 80th percentile, and both of them were competitive, stating, by next week I'll be above 90%. Well, both of them by the next week were at 98%. So this was wonderful to see the staff rallying for this and actually having some compliance improvements. Another thing that we do with our no tolerance policy is that we counsel our staff members. If we notice they're not wearing the badge, we verbalize to them to continue to wear their badge and show that compliance improvement. If they continue to lapse in that, they're then written up for not wearing their badge. We are no tolerance policy, and this is a patient safety initiative. So if they do not wear their badge, then they're not able to work in the patient care areas. Another example of our positive a feature here at the facility for no tolerance policy is our lunches. We make sure and mandate that our staff takes 30-minute lunches, so that way they're not working and they're able to take a lunch and take a break. These are some examples that no tolerance policy has led to culture change. Communication and showing up. Lakeview is dedicated to communication in everything that we do. Our CEO makes rounds and wears her badge proudly as she makes her rounds. I conduct daily base station rounding, inquiring with the staff and bonding with the staff to see if they're having any concerns with the badges. I was present during the training sessions and I provided education to new staff members. Being present allowed me to then take it to hospital orientation, and when we get new staff members, I'm able to provide them with the key, take them and do an orientation with the base station and the badges. And I was also present during implementation, so that showed the staff support and I'm able to answer questions. Communication is key to understanding obstacles that the staff are facing with BioVigil. It also builds a rapport with the staff on the topic, ultimately helping the new initiative and culture change. Tough love. I am a happy, bubbly person, and I round with a smile, and I'm well receptive, and thus the happy hands. But you also have to be firm and show them that this is a patient safety initiative and you want everyone wearing their badge. So every day I make rounds on all of the units and I assess and see which staff members are not wearing their badge. And I approach them with a smile and I try and find out what's the reason why they weren't wearing the badge. Some of the excuses may be that they're too busy, they lost their key, or they just merely forgot. I will take their key and I will go to a base station if they're too busy, and I will check out the badge for them and bring the badge to them if they're too busy. With that, it shows that I care, and it also shows that we want them wearing that badge. So there are different reasons why. So if it's a lost key, we make sure and assign them a new key. If the base station is out of badges or they're red, I go to another base station, I collect several green, and I bring it to that base station so that way the staff can check out the badges and have them available to wear. I do provide rewards for improvement in compliance or 100% compliance. The staff became very appreciative. This increased the morale, and they wanted to wear the badge. They were wearing their badge, getting to green, so that way they would receive some positive reinforcement. Several staff members began to say, well, I'm at 100% compliance. Do I get a treat for today? They enjoyed it, and it was a great way to bond with them. So it's positive reinforcement, but tough love to say that we are firm, and we want you wearing it. So by no tolerance policy, but also smiling and positive reinforcement, again, created a culture of change at our facility. Another wonderful feature about BioVigil is we were saved by our report. This is phenomenal. I also do risk management. So as you can see, a patient fall brought up legal inquiries. We were able to pull a report and see how frequent the nurse rounded and when was the last time that she went into the room. We were also able to identify which members of our staff entered or exited a room. We had received a complaint that someone had entered a room and had a situation, and when we looked at the report, we could see that that staff member never even entered the room. So we were able to dispute this complaint. We also pulled a rounding report from another complaint when someone said, the nurse never entered my room. Well, we were able to pull it and see the nurse did indeed round more than every hour. We were able to go back to the patient and explain to them that the nurse was rounding frequently, ultimately avoiding a lawsuit, which is phenomenal. This proves right here that you can pull these reports and see whether your staff was present or not. An excellent feature in BioVigil. Okay, so here is a bar graph. As you can see, we had a significant reduction. A decrease in HAI stands for hospital-acquired infections. In the bar graph, you can see that in November, we had 5 hospital-acquired infections. This is when we rolled it out, November of 2017. Now, as of March, we only had 1. Significant reduction due to the increased hand hygiene compliance from our BioVigil hand hygiene system. We also can see here an infection reduction. Right here, as you can see, we were at 19.6 in November when we rolled it out, all the way down to 0 in February, and 3.1 in March. Absolutely phenomenal that BioVigil has helped us reach this. In summary, BioVigil is the most innovative patient safety initiative that has reduced our infection rates by 80% and promoted healthy patients and staff members. BioVigil is accepted and worn with pride within our hospital. Our next initiative is to roll out to the physicians. This is work for us. Culture changes everything. I challenge all of you to implement this to change your culture by fostering and utilizing positive reinforcement and no tolerance implementation techniques to be successful with the BioVigil hand hygiene system. Okay, in closing, this wonderful picture that you can see that our staff has embraced the BioVigil hand hygiene system with our culture change. So we had a wreath competition and for Christmas, and radiology created this wreath, and it actually glows. So it lights up in the middle for the happy hands, and the sanitizers have little Santa hats. They also wrote a song with real notes. All I want for Christmas is green. So as you can see, we reached our culture change of happy hands and healthy patients with a smile, with fun, creating rapport, and a no tolerance policy. I thank all of you for joining me today, and all I can say is that BioVigil hand hygiene system is phenomenal, and it has really helped our hospital, and I can't thank BioVigil enough.
Thank you, Lizette. That's very generous of you. I want to now take some time to address some of the questions that our attendees have asked online. And the first one is, what departments do you have wearing the badges?
Okay, so it's throughout the entire hospital. We have nursing, patient care techs, dietary, the environmental system, so that's our cleaning, laboratory, ER, so it's radiology, so it's multidisciplinary, the entire, most of the hospital.
And so I think the only parts of the hospital that aren't wearing it are the physicians, except for the CMO, right?
Correct, so that's our next rollout.
Okay, great. I have a question for you, actually. You mentioned 100% compliance, and I think that, you know, this is something that people probably don't even think is possible. Could you talk about how many of your nurses or whomever are getting 100%? That's a real number? I mean,
it is, definitely, and those are our stars of the units. We have some in the ER, and they reach 100% every time that we pull the reports. And every time that we pull them, I highlight it and I bring it down there and I show them. And I show their other staff members that may not be to 100%. Several of our units throughout the hospital, some of the nurses in the ICU, telemetry, you know, several of them, outpatient surgery, if they reach that 100% compliance, which it is very much so possible. And it's very impressive, and you can see that those people are dedicated to patient safety.
Great. You mentioned a lot of initiatives as far as implementing or getting to the culture change. What do you think was the one initiative that really tipped your staff towards adoption?
The reduction in infection rates for them was essential. You know, when I would show them how they're going down, they would understand how this was helping our hospital, our patients. Ultimately, you know, they would see that and it would be impressive to them. And they also like the part of the green hands, to know that happy hands, green is clean. Okay.
And we have another question from an attendee. How does the system work? Does it register as one accesses the Purell dispenser and the badge goes from red to green? Or how does it work? Would you like to explain, or would you like me to take that question? Why don't you take it?
Either way, you know, I know how it works, but if you want to take that question, go ahead.
No, feel free. It sounds better coming from you.
Okay, so they do have infrared bars installed on the entrance of the rooms and then the threshold once you enter the room. And for our facility, our sanitizer is on the outside of the room. The staff member wears the badge up high and on their chest, and as they enter the room and they cross through that threshold, the badge starts to turn colors. It starts to turn from green to yellow, just like your stoplight analogy. It turns yellow and it starts to vibrate and make a sound to remind the staff to sanitize their hands if they had not done that walking in. Once it turns red, they need to correct it immediately, but it's those infrared bars that sense that badge coming through that threshold. That's when it starts to change colors.
Okay, well said, Lizette. There's another question, and this is from one of our attendees. How many beds are in your hospital? And are you a dedicated infection preventionist to this, or what part of your day is dedicated to hand hygiene, rounding, and monitoring?
We have 167 beds, and I am a part of infection control because I'm in quality and risk management. And every day I go in the morning, and the time varies because I run into other obstacles, but I go to every base station, make sure that badges are available, that all the staff is wearing them, and if anybody's having issues. So it really doesn't take too much of my time. You know, briefly, if you hit each one and you just check the staff, it's important for patient safety. So it's definitely an infection control part of my job.
Do you think you could quantify for our attendees how long you think it takes on a daily or weekly basis? I think that's an important question.
I would, for daily, because sometimes I stop and take time on the units, I would say, it depends on the size of your hospital as well, but for me, about 30 minutes to an hour, depending on, you know, if I get stopped by staff members or stopped by patients or things like that, or physicians. But yeah, it's definitely an important part of making sure it's successful.
Okay. We have another question. I take it that you have this set up in all places in the hospital. Do you also have it set up in the facilities areas as well?
Like the like plan operations, or within the outside of the like the admitting, or what do you mean by that? I'm sorry, can you clarify? Like, well, the only place that we do not have it is within the OR, inside of the OR, and then we do not have it by like admitting and downstairs by the cafeteria where patients, you know, are not admitted and such, but that's the only areas where it's not present.
So I think, Lizette, you have it in all of your patient care areas, right? And that's probably the most important piece?
Yeah. Okay. In the ER, and then every single unit, and then we also have it in respiratory and cardiology, outpatient surgery. Yeah, so that's everywhere that it is.
Okay, the question was clarified. Facilities where the people who are working on boiler operations.
Oh, the facilities management, that's what I figured. So our plant operations, no, they don't have any, they don't have to wear it, and they don't have it, so no. And they're actually outside to the back of the hospital.
Okay, great. Could you share with everyone what your favorite part of the system is?
I love the green hands, because green is clean, as I said, and that is what has led to our happy hands. So everyone loves the happy hands. The patients love them. It's very well received. When the patients see it, they've never seen anything like it in their lives. They get so excited to know that their nurse has clean hands. So it's a wonderful initiative.
Do you have any specific patient stories you can share?
I do. We actually had a patient that was having chest pain. And of course, the nurse's last thing is to sometimes, you know, stop and pledge her badge. So she ran into the room with a vital sign machine, or EKG, and she had turned red. So when she gets up to his bed, the patient had read this in his orientation packet, that red is not clean hands, that green is clean. So he tells the nurse, don't touch me until you have cleaned your hands and it's green. So the nurse is telling him, well, you're having chest pain, we have to do an EKG. And he said, nope, you're going to go out there and wash your hands. So the nurse went and washed her hands, pledged her badge, was green, and that's when she continued on. But, you know, when the patients understand it, it's amazing, fascinating.
Okay, we have some more online questions for you, Lizette. How many opportunities, I think that's hand hygiene opportunities, are being recorded each month at Lakeview?
I do not have those numbers in front of me. I actually pulled them this morning and didn't get a chance to read through them. But we do have several opportunities, and I mean, I can't speak on the exact numbers right now, so I do apologize for that.
Okay, we can probably get back and answer that question via email as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And there's another question. Is there a certain department that has better compliance rate than the others? Or does it vary?
It does vary. It does vary. I would say ICU is doing great. ICU has a wonderful compliance rate, and so does our OB and postpartum.
Okay. Okay, right now we don't have any other questions. Let's just give it a couple more moments in case we get an additional one in. But it's been a very interesting discussion, and so far we really appreciate you sharing. So there is another question. Does BioVigil work with any brand of hand hygiene product? And I'll take that. The answer is yes. We are sanitizer and soap and dispenser agnostic. So whatever exists in your hospital, we work with that automatically. We have another question. How difficult was it to set up the entire system at the hospital?
Not difficult at all. We were actually really impressed. They sent out, BioVigil sends out, you know, a team of people, and they easily pop those bars on fast. I mean, above the room, they just click right on. I think they're magnetized, correct, Amanda? It's like a little magnet. Yeah, so they pop those bars on really fast within maybe 2 minutes, and they're well trained. I was so impressed, because if the patient was on isolation, they knew. They wore their PPE head to toe. They introduced themselves, very polite. They went room to room and installed all of those. And then the base stations were super easy. As long as you had the phone jack, and IT would set up some of it, and then they would just put the base station there, done. I mean, it was super fast. And then the education rollout, how many days did it take for us to do that? Do you remember, Amanda?
I don't recall, but it
didn't take too many days.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a day and night shift education, and we rolled it out to all of our staff. So very fast implementation and installation.
Okay. We have a couple of questions here regarding cost, so I'm going to address those. We don't provide cost online because there are a couple of things that we need to consider with regard to how much the system costs. So if you are interested in finding out the cost, please email me directly, and we can get you in touch with the correct people who will be able to help you answer that question based on the size of your facility and a couple of other issues. Let's see what else. Does it work with hand washing is another question.
Yes, this is an exciting feature. Okay, so for C. diff patients, physically soiled hands, or people who are intolerant to the hand sanitizers, there's a water mode on your badges, basically the hand washing mode. And so in addition to the bars they put outside of the rooms, they also have the infrared bars by every sink and then at the nurse's station. And our hospital policy is 15 seconds of vigorous hand hygiene by a sink with water, soap and water. So the staff member has their badge on, they go to the sink and they wash their hands for 15 seconds. It will then turn blue, and then the staff member puts their hand in front of the badge and pledges it, and then dries their hands. And that's the water mode.
And then we have another question. Does the system need the link into the IT system?
That would be you, Amanda. I'm sorry, I'm not certain on that.
Okay, Lizette. So the only thing BioVigil needs is a wireless or internet connection, and that's it. So there's no IT reconfiguration. The system is seamless. As Lizette mentioned, installation is very, very quick, and we don't disturb the patients as we're doing that. So the idea of it is for us to come in, install, and you don't even really notice that we're there. There's another question. Great. Hand hygiene recommendations are 20 seconds. Can that be reset from 15 to 20? I will take that, Lizette, unless you'd like to. The BioVigil system is configurable. So based on your hospital workflow, we have the ability to set the recommendation or the reminder sequence at whatever your hospital desires. Did you want to add anything to that, Lizette?
No, that it is true, because that they're able to change the configuration and timing and things like that. And so I remember you guys discussing that with us. So yeah, we were happy with that.
Okay. Yeah, so this is another cost question, and I addressed this already, but I'll elaborate. Is the cost per badge, per patient, bed, or per facility? Again, we don't typically address cost on a call like this because there are specific factors that we would need to discuss with you and the needs of the hospital. So from that perspective, yeah, we would look at it from a facility. Okay. Are there any other questions that Lizette or myself could answer? We have another one. Who all would need to have badges? I think this is definitely a question for the hospital to answer. Lizette, yeah. Perhaps you'd like to share your experience with who all needs to wear the badge at Lakeview.
Of course. So when we looked at who would be needing to wear the badges, our first thing, like I said, was patient safety. So patient care areas is what you need to look at. So we said for every unit, telemetry, med-surg, OB, ICU, SCU, and all those units where they're having direct patient care. So we said the nurses, the patient care techs or CNAs, the people who are delivering the food trays, they obviously need to be cleaning their hands in and out. The staff members who are cleaning the rooms because they're going from patient room to patient room. Our rehab, so PT, OT, ST, our cardiac rehab as well, the ones that walk the patients after open heart surgery. In addition, respiratory, they're going in and out of the rooms as well. And then our ER staff, ancillary staff down there, but we wanted to make sure anyone in patient care areas. The only place where we realized it really wasn't necessary was, the OR, things like that. But other than that, all the other units do have it present.
Thank you. Okay. We have another question. How many badges did you have to order for your hospital? I'll take this question, Lizette, because not about ordering badges for the hospital. So BioVigil is a managed service, and we come in, we look at your hospital, we do pre-implementation training, implementation, and we have monthly data meetings with your staff to help you figure out how better to optimize your workflow and look at your compliance. So it's not about ordering badges. Our team decides how many badges you need based on who in the hospital would be wearing the badges. These are great questions. Really appreciate the questions from our audience today. Okay, we'll wait here for just a few more seconds in case we have any other questions we can address. Okay, well, if there aren't any further questions, then we will close today's call. If you do have questions, feel free to reach out to me directly. You can certainly find my contact information in the invitation that you were sent, and we will be sending out a follow-up email. So we thank you so much for joining us. We will be taking a break next month, which is July, for the BioVigil webinar series, but we will have a great program planned for you all in August. So until then, I wish you happy 4th of July. And Lizette, thank you so very much for joining us. It was such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.
And until then, we'll see you next time. Have a great afternoon.